Good morning from an April showers, Bowling Green, Kentucky. I do want to apologize for the delay in getting started this morning. We are operating with technology that's completely reliant upon the internet, and we've got 6 different connections going on around Kentucky, so we had some difficulties getting things restarted here. And that may happen again. If it does, please just hang in there. We're gonna get it sorted out. We got some really great people behind the scenes, Andrew and Steve and Lauren, and they've really got things under control for us here. So I'd like to welcome everyone to another WKU COVID-19 Learn On webinar. This one we're calling Global Learning, Perspectives from China and the United States on COVID-19. We'll be talking with 5 study abroad students, 3 American students who studied in China, and 2 Chinese students who are studying here at Western Kentucky University to learn more about their impressions of COVID-19 from 2 different countries and being hosted in those different countries. I just want to start out by saying that the opinions that are expressed here are of the individuals who are saying them and do not necessarily represent those of Western Kentucky University. The reason we're doing these webinars is Western Kentucky University is a place of discovery, learning, and sharing information. To some people, universities may seem far off, intimidating, and out of touch. Western Kentucky University is open and welcoming. Our community is part of our core. We have so much to share, especially during this time of crisis. To continue educating our students, our community, and beyond, the Office of Global Learning and International Affairs is partnering with the Center for Innovative Teaching and Learning at Western Kentucky and our dear colleagues from around campus to sponsor a series of webinars that explore COVID-19 and how we can climb higher in the future. My name is John Sunnygaard. I'm the Associate Provost for Global Learning and International Affairs here at Western Kentucky. And I'm really honored to be here with our 5 students. Lu Dai, Ashley Cleary, Bradley Orr, Zisho Lee, and Charlie Starmer. So at the end of this presentation, we're going to do actually 2 sections. The first part will be in English, and the second part we're going to conduct in Chinese because our American students are fluent in Chinese, and our Chinese students, of course, are fluent in English. So let's get started. I'm going to start out with you, Lou. What are you studying, and how long have you been at Western Kentucky?
I've been here 5 years since 2015, and I study in accounting and finance majors at WKU.
Great. Thank you. Ashley, how about you? What are you studying at Western?
So I'm a senior at Western. I'm studying international affairs, international business, and Mandarin, and I was part of the 2019-2020 Nanjing capstone cohort.
Great. How long were you in Nanjing?
We were there for about half a year when we were studying in Nanjing University, and then it was in the wintertime when the whole COVID-19 thing happened where we had to come back to the U.S.
Yeah, good. We'll talk about that some more. Bradley.
Hi. Yep, so I am an International Affairs, Asian Religions and Cultures, and Chinese triple major, graduating senior. I was also with Ashley and Charlie last semester in China for about 6 months, and I've been with the Chinese Flagship program ever since I was a freshman.
Great. Lee, how long have you been here at Bowling Green?
I've been here for 5 years. I come here 2015, and I'm an interdisciplinary study major.
Great, thank you. And Charlie.
Yeah, my 4th year at WKU ended last May in 2019, and then I was in Nanjing with Ashley and Bradley for 6 months, and I studied Chinese economics and political science during my time as an undergrad.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, can you tell us a little bit about the Chinese language flagship that we have here at Western Kentucky?
Yeah, so it's meant to be a government-sponsored intensive language learning program, and it works quite well. Ashley, Bradley, and I all were able to complete our studies through it. Well, we obviously weren't able to complete the final year in China because the program is meant to be 4 years as an undergraduate in America and then the fifth year in China. But the goal of it is to be fluent, at least professionally fluent in Mandarin by the time you complete it. And we have all reached that ideal. So it's been very great.
That's amazing. Actually, how much Chinese did you have when you started in the program?
So for Charles and I, we had no Chinese language experience. So when we started, it was completely from scratch. We didn't know anything. And then
Wow.
throughout these 4 years, and then the capstone year, we built ourselves up through all these classes and then summer intensive programs. Yeah.
Great, great. Bradley, how about you?
Yeah, so I'm a bit of an exception. I came in with a few years of experience from high school, and I was able to study in China for a year when I was in high school. But I was still able to learn quite a bit at WKU and continue my studies and improve upon my existing language.
Good, good. Yeah, we have a really impressive Chinese language program here. There are only 13 Chinese language flagships around the United States. They're funded by the U.S. Defense Department, and the work that they do is really impressive. I had the privilege of visiting with Ashley, Bradley, and Charlie in October when President Caboni and Dean Murphy and myself traveled to China to establish some partnerships in China. And we were blown away by the level of language ability that our Western Kentucky students have, and the really, really hard work that they've done to get there. It's really a pleasure to see them. So, Lee and Lou, when did you start studying English?
We start English. I think it's when we were 10 elementary school. We will start to learning ABCD. But now maybe the children from 5 years old, when they in the kindergarten, they will begin to study English. It depends. But for me, it's at elementary school, and then we continue to study in high school and middle school, and yeah. But I think the big improve for us to study English is when we come to here, especially WKU, because it provides us a very good environment. Just a few Chinese here, and everyone speak English, and everyone is kind. And when I met a lot of professors, they try to speak very kind of slow and clear to me, so it helped me a lot.
That's great, great. How about you, Lee?
Yeah, I started studying my English in junior school, I remember. And then I went to Beijing for foreign language school. Then I came here. Well, I learned most of my English in here, in Western. Well, I spent my freshman year in campus. I got a roommate, and that's helped a lot.
Yeah, that's great. So it's wonderful when we have an opportunity for language learners to spend time with one another and help each other out, in their respective language. And that's something that we really try to make happen here at Western. And boy, having studied 5 different languages myself and lived in different countries and had to use them professionally, I am so impressed with anyone who can do a full undergraduate degree in a foreign language like you guys are doing here at WKU. And our flagship students did that last year at Nanjing University, which is one of the top universities in China. So I really tip my hat that I'm not wearing to you. Let's make a little transition here to talking about the thing that is just rocking the entire planet, and that is COVID-19. So where were you all in January? Charlie, I'm going to start with you. Where were you in January?
So our semester ended January 17th, so we were still all in Nanjing. But we had planned on going to travel for our winter break, and so Bradley, Ashley, and I were all there, but Ashley and I, and then a couple other people, had originally intended to travel to Zhangjiajie Senli, That's the forest or mountain area where James Cameron shot Avatar. But by
Cool.
that point, it would have been great. But yeah, by that point, the day of the trip, as we were waking up and walking to the subway, we were notified that we were no longer allowed to go because the disease was spreading and they were starting to cut off areas surrounding the Zhangjiajie. Um, but and we were still thinking about going anyways, but then we didn't we thought it through more clearly and decided probably be best not to risk getting locked in, and yeah, then it devolved from there.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. And Lou and Lee, where were you in January?
In January, we are in the United States WKU here, and we just got some information from our families when we have a FaceTime or we have a chat online, and they say there are virus in China begin to spread, and people begin to notice it. People begin to put on the mask when they go outside, and then after maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I don't know the specific time because it's
almost a month.
yeah, a month, and then we got the news that the city got locked down. Yeah.
The city of Wuhan.
Yeah, city of
Wuhan.
Wuhan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just for reference, Ashley, about how far is Nanjing from Wuhan?
It's a few hours by train ride to get there, and it's in a completely different province. So there's like one province between like Jiangsu and then the province that Hunan is in. I mean, Hubei is in.
So it's pretty far away.
Yeah.
Like maybe from Kentucky to say Washington D.C.
Yeah, I think it'd be kind of comparable to that. Maybe I'm not really sure. Maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
My geography is not really very good.
Sure.
But there's kind of a significant distance between where we were and where the epicenter of the virus is.
Lee, tell us a little bit about what you were thinking, and how you were feeling at the end of January with what was happening in China and what was going on, with your family and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I was worried about my family. Some of my friends and some of my relatives, they are working for volunteer to fight the virus. They keep the order. They are basically they lock down every community in China. When you go outside, there is a security guard with a temperature gun. They will test your temperature. If your temperature is normal, you can go outside. But your temperature is wrong, they're gonna take you to test the COVID-19.
So Lee, where in China are you from?
I'm from Inner Mongolia. It's
Inner
very
Mongolia. And how far is that from Wuhan? That's really far.
oh, that's really far. It's basically like a Kentucky to Seattle.
Yeah. Okay. And Lou, where are you from in China?
I'm from Guangzhou, and my hometown is in Henan. Yeah. And the Henan is close to Wuhan. My grandparents, they are in Henan, and so they just told me they just stay at home maybe 2 or 3 months, and yeah, just stay at home in case, because uh, they are elder people and it's very dangerous for them.
Yeah, wow. So you had family, each of you had family in different parts, and some of you had family who were fairly close to Wuhan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I recall early or later in January, early February, when Lee, you started to organize something as a part of a student group that you're with here on campus. Can you tell us a little bit about the student group and what you and Lou and others were organizing for that? I thought it was fantastic.
It's kind of like student union. It's a Chinese student and scholar association. Basically, like a bunch of Chinese students and the Chinese teachers come together to form one group. And since the COVID-19 outbreak, we've been seeing to donate some like money or the medical mask, of course, to China because there are lack of supplies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And now we try to call some companies and go on some newspapers. And we hit a lot of walls.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have to organize our people to do that. And and back then the university didn't shut down. Everyone has class. It's
Right.
pretty busy.
Yeah. So we were still in class.
Yeah,
You and this group were going around Bowling Green and around the university, trying to get some support for masks and other equipment to send back to help people in China.
yeah. Not only in Bowling Green. I go to Nashville too.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
family.
And it sounds like that was very difficult.
Yeah, it's very difficult because we are only a student union. They don't
Right.
even know who we are. Right.
Sure. And you didn't have things like a nonprofit registration. So if people
Yeah.
were going to give a gift, they couldn't write it off on their taxes, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
How aware did you feel people were in the United States about what was happening in China when you first started this?
Uh, it's a hard answer. It's a hard question to answer. I think that when the COVID-19 outbreak in China, I think it's gonna outbreak in everywhere in the global
Mm-hmm.
because it's very contagious.
Mm-hmm.
And I
So
think,
go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, and back then I think Americans should be aware of that and be protected themselves.
And what kind of response were you getting? I mean, was it sort of like, that's something that's going on in China, it's really far, it's not going to impact me, or that people are really concerned, this might come to the United States?
People don't really concern, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like some of people, they will feel worried about the situation in China. For example, like uh, we try to ask people if they can help us. And I met some people in Home Depot, and I asked them if you have mask, and because I want to buy some for my families. Even
Mm-hmm.
though at that time it's out of stock, but they still say, "I'm so sorry. Are you okay? How's your family?" And also, WKU, I know we set a department, a group to concern about the coronavirus situation in United States. I think it's a good beginning. At least we saw the situation in Kentucky is good. It's better, yeah, compared to the whole situation in the United States.
It's better than New York.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, Bradley, I'm gonna go over to you. So, toward the end of January, tell us a little bit about what was going on in Nanjing, and when did you leave? When did you leave Nanjing?
Yeah, so actually, me, Ashley, and Charlie were the last of our cohort to leave, just coincidentally. We left on, I believe it was February 4th, was our
Mhm.
flight out. So near the end of January, definitely things changed a lot. The city that we grew to know and love has kind of everywhere had closed down. There's only a few restaurants that we could reliably get food from because we didn't want to try and make our way to the grocery stores because I mean early in the morning you could see like lines out the door ready so people could stock up on their groceries and go back home with their families. So yeah, definitely things were being taken really seriously, and people were just staying inside, and yeah, it was really different. It was really strange to see just stores with boarded up or closed down and just empty streets. It was quite surreal, really, in a country like China where the population density is so high.
Sure. About how many people live in Nanjing?
Oh, that's a good question. I think, is it 9 million or 11 million, something like that? I'm not quite for sure off the top of my head, but a lot. I could look it up. I
Yeah.
think it's about 10 million though.
So it's a little, just maybe a fraction smaller than New York City.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, almost 9 million, 8.5 million people.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so, my been in Nanjing a couple times, and it's a fabulous city. Very, on the one hand, it's an ancient capital, but it's extremely modern. And there's so much activity and a lot of people doing all kinds of things, a lot of wonderful shops and things opening. And, it must be really surreal to see a place like that completely shut down and quiet and people standing in line to try to just feed themselves.
Yeah, one of my most vivid memories was at one of the last days we had. Like, it wasn't the final day, but maybe 2 days before we left, me, Ashley, Charlie, and our friend Braden from our cohort were all in a hotel room, and we were at a really high level, just staying there because we were all kind of organizing our flights together, and you could see the entire city from it, and it looked so beautiful, all the lights, and it was so modern. And then when you go down and start walking down the streets, it was empty, and that was just
Wow.
I just remember that it was so vivid.
Wow. So before you left China, were you required to be in any kind of quarantine? How did that work? Was there sort of a stay-at-home kind of thing, safer at home like we have here in Kentucky right now? What was going on?
Yeah, so we had our flights obviously, and all three of us took precautions. We wore the masks and stayed in the airports and everything, and tried to stay away as best as we can. It's hard in the immigration line, but once we got through immigration, the CDC took care of us, took tests, and we had a fairly lengthy questioning, and they ran us through and gave us temperatures and gave us documents and advised us to stay at home for 2 weeks, which I did. So
yeah. So
yeah, we every day recording temperatures twice a day and stuff like that. So
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ashley, so you were also in quarantine. So, and what's the difference? Tell us a little bit about the difference between being in quarantine and the safer at home that we're practicing right now in Kentucky.
So, being in quarantine, the difference I felt between being in quarantine and this whole safer at home thing was that when I was in quarantine at my home, my mom had to take off from work for 2 weeks, and she was the only one there. And then my brother and sister and my dad all went to live with my grandparents, and they would bring us groceries and drop them off in front of on the front of our driveway, and we go out and pick them up. So that was what we did for 2 weeks, and we hardly left the house. But then for the whole safer at home thing, it can be summed up as there was this one instance where there was really nice weather. My brother and sister and I decided to go to the park, and then we just went to the park, and there was also everyone else from our community at the park. So the safer at home thing is kind of a lot less strict than the quarantine, is what I would kind of bring it down to.
Sure. Wow. That must have been really painful. You've been away from home for a long time, right? I mean, when did you go to China? In August or July or something?
In August, yeah.
In August.
The end of August. Mm-hmm.
And you come back in February, and your whole family leaves the house.
Yeah, it was kind of rough, but thankfully there's Netflix, so I didn't really get a lot of culture shock, which was a good thing because I just didn't leave. But yeah, it was very difficult because I wanted to see my grandparents. Obviously, I couldn't go see them. I wanted to be a part of my brother and sister's sort of school activities, the plays and stuff they would do, but I couldn't do that as well. So it was a little difficult, but I think it was really worth it.
And so, Lou, I want to go to you because, like you said, your family was closer to Wuhan, and so what kinds of things were they being required to do in Guangzhou or where your family was living?
Henan.
Henan, yeah.
Yeah. So like China, my family, they live in it's like a community, but it's not a community. It's like apartment. People are around this area of their apartment, and when they want to go outside, there was some people they limit their outside. Say they just allow one person in your family to go outside today, and they will use the temperature gun to test this person's temperature to make sure this person is fine, and then they can go this person can go outside to shopping or something in case because they want to make sure this person is healthy, they will not go spread the virus for others people outside. And then when this person go to the for example supermarket, and they have another test, another man got a temperature gun to test he or him to make sure the person is healthy, and then he can go to the shopping mall or some supermarket to get the food. Yeah, and it's very strict. And but I think where everyone is did a very good job, because when the city locked down, when the community begin to limit people to go in and outside, and things begin better and better.
Wow. So things are, so they're able to get out more now and that kind of thing.
Yes, but still kind of very strict to people need to take the mask. People need to when people feel like they are uncomfortable, they may have like a high temperature, they need to report relative department, and department will assign a person or some doctors come to people's home to test and to see if this people or person got the infected something.
Wow. Wow. So we have a question from our audience who are watching us, and they're asking Bradley, how similar does the U.S. look now compared to when you were in China?
Oh, that's a great question. I think for me personally, it's very different. It's in China, people are taking quarantine, like I said earlier, taking quarantine measures and social distancing a lot more seriously. Um, of course, this is just from my own personal experience, and everyone, around Kentucky and around the U.S. will have a different experience in their own communities. But from what I can see, I've seen neighbors around me, just having get-togethers, and they're not staying 6 feet apart, and people are using this time to kind of just entertain themselves or do whatever. So I think that's definitely something. The major difference is that we could learn from is to just take it more seriously on a personal basis.
Yeah, there's some, we're asking these huge questions right now. The economy, I mean, we haven't had a level of unemployment in my entire lifetime that we have right now. And so people are saying, I want to get back to work. Of course we do. We all want to work. And yet there is the cost that it has of, public health. This invisible thing that is so dangerous. At the time that you all were in China, China had the largest number of deaths of COVID, and it was a fraction compared to what we've got in the United States now. Now the United States has more fatalities from COVID than any other country in the world. I'm curious to know from all of you, what are some of the differences in the way that China handles things like, big public health issues versus the way that we're handling them here in the United States? How are those different? So Charlie, I'd like to start with you if you don't mind.
Well, I think first it's reasonable to acknowledge the Chinese numbers definitely aren't accurate. But I do believe that China has incentive to accurately represent the proportion of the disease today in China. So I do think if they are acting as if it's getting better, and that their economy is reopening, it probably is. But in regards to what they're doing differently, that has definitely been successful. I think just from the beginning, everyone was wearing masks, and it was you weren't allowed to go into shops. They wouldn't let you into shops if you weren't wearing a mask. And I think, like Bradley said, they seem to be taking it a lot more seriously than has been the, I don't know, maybe just anecdotally the consensus here. And I think people like my friends in China, I have people and friends in China that literally didn't leave their house for 2 months. And people here that like it's nice to go on a walk and all, and I think as long as we're being safe about it, that's completely fine. But also, a lot of people here still aren't being serious enough about it, and they're still going out with friends. And even up until the point where everything was closed down, people were still going to bars and just partying around, and that definitely exacerbated the issue.
Mm-hmm. Lee, how about from your perspective?
Well, I think I think American maybe treated the COVID-19 like other flus, like just some regular flus. But it's pretty different than the regulars. If it's if it's a regular flu, the Chinese government won't take this very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
According to my friend, he's working as a volunteer in China, and he said in the January and the February, the Chinese government basically buy the medical mask and the medical supplies from all over the world, and that wasn't enough.
Right, right. Yeah, and
Yeah.
certainly you guys tried to do your part. So you did get some masks, right?
Yeah,
What did you do with those masks?
just send them back to the Chinese Red Cross.
Okay. And then you had some other masks as well, right? I
Yeah.
understand. And
Yeah.
what did you do with the masks that you had here in the United States?
Well, we just keep it for ourselves for now.
Yeah, we keep some for ourselves, and we donate some to here, but for people who need, and yeah, but yeah. But from now we just stay at home. We don't go outside, so I think we don't need a lot of masks if we don't contact with others.
Well, I understand at one stage you knocked on President Kaboni's door.
Oh yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, those masks is collected from the CSSA member, the Chinese Student Union member.
Yeah.
It's about 500 something masks.
Around it.
Yeah, around 500 masks.
Yeah, most of this masks is like our members' family. They mailed it from China because our families are very worried about us in this situation now.
Sure.
Yeah. And the Chinese embassy, they gave us like a healthy pack with some medical mask, with some medicine.
Yeah.
in it.
Well, that's interesting. So the Chinese embassy actually sent out to Chinese students studying in the United States
Yeah.
a little packet of things to help keep you safe.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh. Did we get anything like that in Nanjing?
If you're asking us, I mean, we didn't really get any medical packs or anything, but definitely our implementing organization and the U.S. government and Department of Defense and everybody really did a fantastic job in updating us early and getting us on those early flights before they were canceled. So, I mean, hats off to them. And my personal hats off to Delta. They were an amazing airline. And Delta, the U.S. State Department, everyone, fantastic job getting us out and getting us safe. So, really
Great.
thankful.
Thank you. So we've got just a couple minutes left for the English side of the conversation. And I've got two more questions from our audience. The first one is, how has it impacted you to see quarantine implemented on a global level? So beyond China and the United States, but around the world. Ashley, do you want to kick off with that one?
Sure. Well, I think it's a good first step to see that people are starting to take this more seriously, especially in Europe and the United States, that there's more measures to help people stay at home, like implementing social distancing, and then getting people connected with like their healthcare providers just in case people believe that they have symptoms of COVID-19. So I think that quarantine on a global level is just like a byproduct of us trying to defeat this pandemic as fast as possible. And so I think in that regard, it's a good thing that we're all kind of on the same page and we're implementing the same sorts of measures to help control this outbreak. Yeah.
Thank you. Lou, what do you think about that, seeing a quarantine or sort of a stay at home being conducted on a global level?
I think it's very good beginning because like we begin to focus on these things and people begin to like when I So now when I go to sometimes when I just barely go outside, but when we go to the Walmart to pick up things, and people just I saw a lot of people they wear masks and they keep distance with others, and also and I saw like there are a lot of news about our community and about what they did in the United States. It's a good beginning, and I think it's just a time for us to wait to see what's that we got for what we did now. Like, yeah.
Thank you. And I want to follow up on that one a little bit with another question from our audience. So for those of you away from your families, I'm going to focus really on Lee and Lou. What are your thoughts on returning to visit? You know, what are you thinking about, say, returning to China? You know, you're going to be graduating in May.
Yeah.
Right? And now I know that, Lee, you're planning on doing OPT, optional practical training, where you can work in the United States for a year.
Yeah.
And Lou, are you planning to go back to China, or are you planning to stay and spend another year working in the United States?
Actually, I applied for the OPT too, but for my original plan, I plan to back China in September. But I don't know if my airplane will be canceled and what situation will be in the future. So I may back China next year for everyone healthy, especially because I really miss my grandparents, but I cannot meet them at that time. Yeah, so I will be here and stay at home until next year, I think.
Yeah, wow. So you still have a long way ahead of you before you get home.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. How are you feeling about that, Lee?
I'm feeling okay, as long as my parents okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I have one last question for us in English before we move on to our Chinese language side. So, and this is for each one of you, and I'll start out with Ashley. But what would you like to see for China-U.S. relations moving forward? And do you think COVID might help us get there in a better way?
So I think I kind of speak for everybody when I say that we want U.S.-China relations to stabilize and get better. And I think that COVID-19 kind of has a weird way of maybe bringing that about in a way that we didn't quite expect. Because I think in this situation, it's super important for every country to kind of work together, not only in like the research aspect of researching COVID-19, but also in sharing their tactics on how they've kind of coped with their own outbreaks, and then also sharing medical supplies and PPE and things like that. So I'm hoping that this whole sort of situation will drive home the point that having international cooperative relationships will be beneficial for everyone in the future. Yeah.
Lou, how about you?
I agree with you, and yeah, I think when so before we got the medical for the coronavirus, the thing we should work together. And we saw a lot of news about like the President Trump to contact with our President Xi to talk about the coronavirus, how to protect it, and it's a very good beginning. And here and we have these activities for people to know what is coronavirus, how to provide it, how to stop it, and how to be better, something like that. So I think it's time and to wait because, like coronavirus, people need to know how. If you got it, you have to know after 14 days at least, right? So I think it's very good, and we will see the countries work together and be very friendly to fight for the coronavirus. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Charlie, what do you think about that?
So, as Ashley said, we all of us deeply care for China and clearly the U.S.-Chinese relations is very likely the most important relationship, international relationship today, and nobody wants to see that damaged. However, maybe this is the pessimism in me, but I do not see how this virus will bring our countries closer together in any way. I do not see how, given the CCP's handling of the virus in its first month, especially like with doctors such as Gao Wenliang, I do not see how that will improve China's standing globally or how it will make any of the West, including the United States, want to be further cooperative post-virus. I think right now is the time to work together for sure, and I would love to see that last, but I find that to be unlikely.
Interesting. Thank you. Thank you. Bradley, how about you?
Yeah, so it's a really deep and nuanced question, but just as a simple answer, I can just say that, of course, I hope that the relationship, we maintain a good relationship. It's everything's really up in the air and no one knows what will happen. But I mean, in the early stages of the virus, you saw the U.S. Donating medical supplies to China. Once the New York outbreak happened, there was donations there from China back to the U.S. And I do just hope that just our common love for each other as fellow humans just prevails and there's mutual respect on both sides for each other.
Lee, I'd like to get your answer to that question too, please.
To what, sorry?
Lee, to, what would you like to see for China-U.S. relations moving forward?
Well, I think it's cooperation with conflict. Well, only for the COVID-19. Before the COVID-19, there was a trade war. We all know that nobody won in trade war. And COVID-19 came. The ultimate solution for the COVID-19 is not a mask, it's a vaccine. And China and the United States is now leading the vaccine research. I think one day they will work together to get the vaccine, or this COVID-19 thing gonna last forever. But after that, I think the fundamental problem is not resolved. I think the China and the U.S. gonna last a very long relationship, but with a lot of conflict.
Yeah, thank you. That's very interesting. And I think, Bradley, you really did hit it with the complexity and nuance. There's a lot going on, and there has been a lot for a long time going on between the United States and China. And so we know that Lou and Lee are going to be graduating in May. Actually, all of you are graduating in May. Lou and Lee are going to be Congratulations. I'm so excited for all of you. Lou and Lee are going to be, hopefully spending another year here working and, under the OPT structure. And I understand that Ashley and Bradley, you're planning on going back to China, right?
Yeah. Me and Ashley are both planning to go back and continue our internships. I will be in, hopefully, assuming all the deadlines that they've given us will hold up with the virus situation. We'll be back in China in early August, hopefully. I will be going back to Shanghai for my internship, and Ashley will be going to Shenzhen. I don't know if she wants to say anything about that, but...
Yeah, what are you going to do in Shenzhen?
Well, in Shenzhen, I'm the only person from my cohort that's actually going to be in Shenzhen, so that's going to be like a challenge on its own. But I'm super excited to go back because I'm going to be working with the South China branch of the European Chamber of Commerce. And so that's why I really, really wanted to continue the program and get back into the swing of doing kind of like hands-on work in China.
Bradley, what are you going to do in Shanghai? What's the job?
Assuming that I can still go to my previous internship position, which it'll be an international marketing firm. So I'm really excited to do that and be able to, they were telling me that they had a program where I could go see every different department and spend a few weeks in each. And I'm hoping to really learn a lot from that and apply it to my future career.
That's fantastic. Charlie, what are you going to do?
Oh, so I will be going to law school probably at George Washington. we're still waiting on other options and seeing if different scholarship opportunities work out, but most likely at George Washington in DC.
That sounds great. I'm so proud for the little role that I play in all of you and your activities. I have the privilege of working with all the international students, and also the real great privilege of sending WKU students around the world. And it's just so great to see how you are all learning to work in different languages, in different countries. You're learning, it's all a part of your WKU degree, but then you have these amazing doors that are opening up to you all over the world. And, we're really pleased and honored to be a part of that process. So, congratulations on your graduation. And thank you very, very much, for our conversation today in English. And, I would like to now switch to do, have the similar conversation, but to do it in Chinese. So this is on YouTube in the United States. They don't have YouTube in China. They have a thing called UQ. And so we're going to post it. We have a UQ channel in China, and we're going to post the Chinese language conversation to our audience in China. We have a lot of alumni in China. We have a lot of Chinese students who come here, a lot of Chinese students who are interested in coming here, many Chinese partners all over China. So, we're really looking forward to sharing some of these experiences with the folks in China as well. So let's move on into the Chinese, and I have to apologize. I don't speak more than like 3 words of Chinese. But I'll start with you, Ashley. Can you introduce yourself and, what brought you to China and what you're studying here at Western Kentucky University?
Okay, hi, 我是 Ashley 李明迪。我去中国的原因就是因为我是西肯泰大学中文领航项目的一个学生，然后我们的目标就是在5年之内，从初中就是初级的汉语水平，就是提高到优级的汉语水平，所以这是我去中国的原因之一。然后我在西肯泰大学学了国际贸易、国际关系和汉语。对 ，Yeah。
Lou, can I go to you, please?
我喜欢你的中文。I like your Chinese. 我是戴璐，那我是现在在西肯塔基大学的会计和金融专业学习，然后今年是这个学期是我最后一个学期，然后马上就要从西肯塔基毕业了，本科毕业。Yeah.
Thank you, Lou. Charlie.
大家好，所以我是 Charlie， 还有马聪，所以我和 Ashley 和 Bradley 的情况都一样。我们在西肯塔基，我和 Ashley 在西肯塔基大学4年了，学习中文4年了。然后我们去年去中国，去南京学习，继续学习。然后我也去过北京参与一个另外一个学习中文的项目，但是我们现在都要。希望我们的未来可以包括中国。
Thank you very much, Charlie. Lee.
大家好，哇，你们中文说的是真的不错。我叫李子硕，我是来自内蒙古的一个中国学生，我在西肯塔基大学学习5年了，我学的是跨学科学术性研究，这特别长。对，然后也马上毕业了，谢谢。
Thank you, thank you, Bradley.
各位观众，大家好，我是 Bradley， 我的中文名字就是沈家友，沈阳的沈，嘉宾的嘉，朋友的友。我现在有3个专业，他们分别是国际关系、亚洲宗教与文化，还有中文。就是我上学期跟马聪和黎明迪就也有了机会去南京大学进修。我从应该是7年前就开始学习中文了，就高中的时候。然后我2015年的时候也有了机会去北京的一个高中学习一年的中文，所以我也希望我未来能够在就使用这个语言的能力来工作。 就无论是在中国或者美国或者哪个国家。谢谢。
Thank you very much. So all of you in January were in a different country. Can you tell us a little bit about what was happening where you were? I'm going to start out with the WKU students who were studying in China in January. So Charlie, can you tell us what things were like for you at the end of January in Nanjing?
所以我们的学期在1月17号终于结束了，所以我们那时原来打算去旅游一下，但是当然因为这个疫情，我们必须留在南京，然后我们那时我们没有那么多事可以做，我们只能留在家或者去几个餐厅吃饭。还有李明丽跟我去上海1个星期，因为我们本来觉得上海应该有事可以做，应该有夜店还是什么的，夜店什么的，但是没有，所以我们然后2月4号回国了。
Thank you, thank you. Bradley, would you like to add anything to that?
可以的。我当时也住在南京，我是本来想要去韩国和日本就看一些朋友，因为我之前在韩国留学了，所以我就希望我有机会去看他们。但是就是我有了一件事情就要去医院，就跟新冠疫情没有关系，但是就耽误了这个旅游机会。所以我就当时也就留在南京。就是我觉得那个疫情的情况发展的非常快，所以就当时我真的感到很触目惊心。
Thank you. And Ashley, similar, what were your family feeling about you being in China in January? And what was happening in China?
其实刚开始的时候，我的母亲已经听到关于疫情的新闻，但她不是非常的担心我自己的健康。他最担心的是，就是航空公司开始取消一些，就是飞机票的这个情况，他开始感到非常的惊讶。所以在这个时候，不是我健康的问题，而是我可不可以离开中国的问题。对 ，Yeah.
Thank you. Now, Lou, you were a long way from home. What were you thinking? How were you feeling about your family in January and February? Were you worried about them? And how were they feeling about you? Were they worried about you?
就在1月的时候，我是非常担心我的家人的，然后我就一直用微信，然后和他们视频说你们还好吗？然后在家不要出去哦，千万不要出去哦。然后呢，有时候我奶奶还就特别任性调皮一下跑出去，然后我都吓一跳，然后就一直和我爷爷说你一定要看住他，不要让他跑出去。然后现在情况就反过来了，然后就是我家人经常就和我视频说不要出去啊，你在家待着，过几个月就好了。反正就是这样，但是总体来说他们还是比较放心我在这边，因为我们这边都比较安全啊，然后人都比较好，所以就还好，只要在家待着自我隔离就好了。Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Lee, how about you? Were your family a little bit worried about you all the way from Inner Mongolia?
非常非常担心。刚刚1月份这个事情，这个新冠在中国刚爆发的时候，我这边特别担心他们，我问他们需不需要寄回一些物资啊什么的，他们也说其实也不用，他们也都自己在家里待着嘛。然后现在跟路的情况一样，就是情况整个就相反过来了，他们也特别担心我们在这边就天天告诉我说你别出去，求你们别出去了，就这种的。
Wow. So now, you all have been experiencing COVID from 2 very different cultural perspectives, and the way that those countries deal with helping to keep the virus at bay so it doesn't become an absolute catastrophe. Please tell us a little bit about some of the differences in the way that this has been managed in China and the United States. And I'll start with you, Ashley.
OK，所以可能我已经说过，就是在中国隔离的这个情况是非常的严重，然后大家都尊重这种规定，所以大家都觉得这是非常的重要。所以如果他们不需要出门，他们就不出门。但在美国的话，这个居家令，大家都觉得哦，就是我的权利，如果我要出门我就出门，没关系。所以我觉得这是最大的区别，就是美国人他们知道这个疫情爆发的情况是非常的严重，但对他们来说，如果他们的家人和他们就是感染这个疫情的可能性不高，他们不太担心这个情况。对。
Thank you. Lee, how about from your perspective?
我认为中国和美国这个对待这个病毒的方式是完全不一样。中国呢，对这个东西是严防死守，控制的特别特别严格。你出入一个小区，它都要有保安测你的体温。那美国这边呢，我最开始感觉可能就把这个病毒当做是一个普通的流感，但是现在这种情况，也被美国人都更重视一些吧，大家也都越来越重视这个东西了，所以我觉得情况也会变得越来越好。
Charlie, is there anything you want to add to that?
只要说在美国很多人还不要戴口罩，所以你出门的话还会看到在超市，在所有地方，普通的人还不戴口罩，所以我觉得这个可能让我们情况更严重一点。
Thank you. And Bradley?
那首先我对就朋友们说的所有的观点就深以为然，但是我要加的一点就是那个就是就基本那个美国和中国的基本的那个政治制度是不一样的，所以就肯定按照美国宪法什么的，就美国无法实行跟中国那样就一模一样的那样的措施，对吧？但是我还是希望美国人能从中国人学习到的一点，就是应该更遵守这些保持距离，天天戴口罩这些，我觉得这是很好的一点。
Thank you. Lou, what would you like to share with us about that?
就我很惊讶吧，因为一般我和美国人说你们要戴口罩，有一些人就会觉得没有必要，只要我和你保持一个距离，然后我勤洗手就没有问题了。然后呢，然后你们都会说戴口罩，然后这些措施，然后我很惊讶，然后我也觉得这可能就会慢慢的会被大家接受这一种行为吧，就比如说戴口罩，然后尽量在家待着，然后我觉得就现在就通过美国现在形势也比较严峻嘛，然后大家会越来越害怕，越来越担心，也越来越重视，所以我觉得就是我觉得这个情况会好转，也希望快点好转，因为大家都在家待的也快受不了了，最后一个学期就这么特殊的过去了，全部变成 online 了，对吧？
So, Lee and Lou, you are both members of the Chinese Student and Scholar Association.
Yes.
And as that association, you started soliciting donations to help support people in China. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience and what you learned and what you were able to accomplish? And then also what you have helped to contribute to our community here in Bowling Green.
在1月20几号这个新冠爆发的时候，我们中国学生会组织了一次针对中国这个爆发的捐款活动，就是找一些美国公司，然后美国企业让他们做一些募捐，就针对中国的募捐，因为当时中国很缺物资，倒不是说缺钱，主要是找不到就像什么医用口罩啊这些东西的。然后我们当时联系了很多家公司，然后也上了一些我们本地的新闻。也算是有些成效吧，捐回了一些口罩到中国去。然后这个事情在美国爆发之后呢，我们就想我们也可以帮助一下这边的群体。于是我们联合我们学生会的一些人，我们组织了差不多500多个口罩吧， 我们直接交给了我们的校长坎波尼，然后我希望他能把这个东西能用在正确的地方，而我也确信这种情况会越来越好转。
对，然后就是我们1月份组织募捐的时候，就像李说的那样，是因为中国当时缺物资，缺物资的原因也是因为我们当时是在新年嘛，中国新年 Chinese Lunar New Year，然后就和西方的圣诞节很像，所以那个时候呢，就是工厂全部都停止工作了，然后呢，工人都回家，然后大家都在家里面。所以说就没有人开工可以制作这些物资。现在呢，就大家全部都开始复工了，然后这些物资就跟得上了。我们也希望就是如果在就是近期或者是更远将来，就是美国或者是就这边如果需要我们帮忙联系物资或怎么样的时候，可以就是我们会尽力的帮忙，然后通过找到一些在中国的有效的物资来帮助这边一起度过难关。
Thank you very much, Lou. Now, I have one last question for each of you, and that is, what would you like to see in the future? And this is a big, complex question, I understand, but what would you like to see in the future for China-U.S. relations? I'll start with you, Charlie.
所以我觉得我能替我们所有人说，我们都想看到中国和美国的关系越来越密切。我们想看到这两个国家的配合。我不知道这样会不会实现，但是我觉得这是我唯一的希望。
Thank you. Lee.
中美关系这个话题已经谈了快1个世纪了。中国和美国的关系一直是起起伏伏，从中国建国以来，然后到现在为止。但是近几年来，从贸易战开始，然后到这个新冠爆发，中美关系有一段很不愉快的过程。但是通过这次新冠，我希望就是中美两国能意识到，彼此合作才是能让对方的生活变得更好，也能让自己变得更好的唯一方式。所以我觉得中美的这个关系会向一个非常正确的方向前进。
Thank you. Bradley.
那这就是一个非常复杂的问题，对吧？就是都包括一些意识形态的等等，但是，当然我希望未来中美还是可以继续合作，继续和平共存，对吧？但是我们作为一个人作为一个人，我无法改变这个一整个政治制度，这一整个中美关系，对吧？但是我还是就看到我们这里的2个中国朋友，对吧？就是他们跟我们在西肯的什么学社什么的都还有当地的人交流，就我觉得这非常非常好。然后我希望就是我们2国的人民还是可以如此来就继续接触继续交流，然后那样就可以就和平共存，就可以继续合作。
Thank you. Lou, what are your thoughts on this?
我觉得就像你说的，我们作为个体来说是很难就说或者做什么事来引起国家关系的改变。但是就是从全球化来说，还有就是这次新冠嘛，因为从刚开始中国的大爆发，然后到现在西方这边的大爆发，然后我们也可以看得到中国就是现在慢慢把我们的经验还有我们的物资捐出去帮助别的国家，我觉得这就是一个非常好的开始。然后就在于我们如何，就是我们国家与国家之间如何协调了。就是当然我相信就是中美关系特别是在新冠这个期间会变得好，因为我们都希望我们的国家会变好，人民都会不要被感染，然后赶快有新冠这个疫苗出来。所以说就我相信，然后希望就我们的关系会变好。然后当然这在我们个体上面是没有特别大的影响，像我们留学生在外面读书 别的州我不知道，但是我们在肯塔基州，就是这边的人民都是非常的热情友善，没有对我们有个别的就是歧视类似，所以我们觉得这是一个对我们来说是非常有信心的一件事。
Thank you very much. And Ashley, I'm going to ask you to wrap this one up.
因为这个问题非常的宏大，但我觉得卢和那个 Bradley 他们提出的这个意见是这个问题的核心。我觉得虽然我们就是在个人的角度来看，我们对两国的这些政策和关系没有很大的直接影响，但我觉得就是我们继续留学，继续跟其他国家的公民聊天，这种可以在一个非常小的规模，就是有助于中美关系的好转，自己觉得对。
Thank you very much. And I want to thank all of you. This has been such a wonderful conversation and such a rich conversation. It's a real pleasure as someone who works in international education to be working with students, who we do so much to help bring them to the United States and give them a welcoming place here at Western Kentucky, but also do so much for American students, our Kentucky students. I mean, you guys are all from Kentucky. Who would have thought 10 years ago that you'd be studying in China and that you would be fluent in Mandarin and able to go on professionally? And that's the kind of thing, that we're all working to do and to make happen. I'm so proud of you, all of you, and really honored that you have a part of our Western Kentucky family and community, and very, very optimistic for all of you about the opportunities that are going to be moving forward with your careers and with all of you professionally. So once again, thank you very much. Congratulations for graduation day, and go Tops.
Thank you, John.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for putting this together.
谢谢大家。
Thank you so much.
谢谢大家。